Everyone else going, welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to do another Q&A video for, I guess, episode 5 and also the finale. So if you do want to take part in these Q&As, definitely go and join the Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. I will do another Q&A next week on Wednesday, and that will be a reaction, I guess, to the finale and sort of talking about the future of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 3 and what's next and whatnot. So yeah, make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like that. So yeah, let's get into the first question here. So Q&A, do you think Janae was the best Walking Dead villain since Negan and Alpha? Well, I would have to say, I mean, it's kind of hard to say overall, just thinking about it off the top of my head, just because there's some villains like Pamela Milton that I would say, you know, definitely Janae is better as a villain, I would say, than Pamela Milton. When you look at The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon Season 1, I mean, there really was just her, right? Like, she was the villain of Season 1. You look at Dead City, and the villain of that season was the Croat. So I would say, yeah, she's definitely overall a better villain than the Croat, because the Croat wasn't even really the main villain, right? And so you look at The Ones Who Live, the main villain there was Major General Beale, and yes, I would say Janae is a better villain than Major General Beale, which is kind of sad to say. I really wasn't expecting that. Like, I thought Major General Beale was going to be one of the best villains of all time, but turns out he's not really that strong of a villain overall. I would say the CRM's presence in that show, and, you know, like the fact that Rick could never leave, like, that is really terrifying. But like Beale himself, he never really felt that terrifying, if I'm being honest. Like, I think that's one of the things that they kind of messed up with, I think, in this show. Like, I think that Jadis, honestly, was probably the way better villain of that season. So is Janae better than Jadis as a villain? I mean, I don't think so. I think Jadis is actually a pretty strong villain, but it's one of those things that's kind of complex because Jadis is also not really a villain, right? She is, but she isn't. And so when I look at that, I'm like, is Janae the best villain since Negan and Alpha? I guess, but there hasn't really been a lot of strong villains overall, and I would say that Janae, she definitely is a stronger villain for sure, but I think the arc overall was, you know, more disappointing. I still think the best villain really of all time was probably Alpha and Beta. I just think that, you know, the Whisperers in general, like, that was honestly, for me, they're so much better than like the Governor. The Governor was awesome, and I think he would probably be like number 2. Negan I would put as number 3, and I know that maybe that doesn't make too much sense, but I just view him as like not really a villain overall. Like, if he died back in the day, then I would probably put him at like number 1, because you would just be looking at, you know, what he did in season 6, 7, and 8 or whatever. And so yeah, I would put him at number 1 most likely, but and then yeah, I think Shane would be afterwards. I don't know where Janae would rank overall there, but yeah, I would have to say that she probably is the best villain since Negan and Alpha, but there hasn't really been a lot of great villains since then. So Q&A, which believed dead character from the main series or any spinoff would you pick to have revealed to actually have been alive? Like, Rick, Madison, and Troy were in the past. So the main criteria for this selection is that they have to have been killed off in a way where they weren't bit/zombified or shown to have a clearly fatal wound. Well, that's really hard looking back at it, because I'm trying to remember every single character that maybe it makes sense that they would still be alive. Honestly, I guess I would have to go with Dr. Jenner, just because we didn't see his death. Like, the CDC blew up, and obviously we know all of that, but like, maybe somehow he survived, like maybe he actually got out or something like that. I have no idea. It's honestly kind of a hard question, because I think that a lot of the characters, for the most part, they made it pretty clear that they're dead, like they're not coming back, right? So Q&A, if Daryl Dixon gets to 7 or 8 seasons, could we see him go to Japan somehow? Also, would you want Kudrone to meet Negan one day down the road if he survives season 2? Love all you do. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. I don't know how that would happen. We'll have to wait and see what happens during the finale, I guess, but that would be really amazing. Honestly, I feel like there's a lot of characters where you're like, you want that character to meet this person or this person. So if that ever happens, that would be really amazing. In terms of the show getting 7 or 8 seasons, I think it's very possible. Like, the 7 or 8 seasons, that's where I'm like, I don't know. I sort of question that, but 4 seasons, I think we're getting for sure. Season 5 and 6, that's where we're going to have to wait and see. Like, they're all talking about it like that's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see, you know, depending on ratings. And again, the ratings are going to have to drop very, very low. Like, I mean, like, Interview with the Vampire gets around like 100,000 something, you know, per episode. And that was season 2, and that just got renewed for a season 3. They're probably expecting their ratings to drop a little bit for that as well, because again, that's cable ratings. We don't know how it's doing on the streaming service, AMC Plus. So it could be doing really amazingly well there. And so it would have to drop that low in terms of, cable ratings, which by season 6, I think is possible because that's another like 4 years from now, right? And cable ratings are going to be a lot lower just overall. So the ratings in terms of AMC Plus could be really great. And so they could do a season 7 or 8. Like, I think it is possible. I think season 5 and 6 are most likely going to happen, but for sure 3 and 4, because they've talked about that. I think they're filming in Spain for season 3 and 4. And so in terms of, could they go to Japan after that? That would be really incredible. I think that, there's a lot of places that I think would be so cool for them to go and check out. My concern with that, though, is I don't want the show to be all about traveling to like this place or that place. I know that that's sort of what they talked about in the very beginning was like, this is going to be basically, the show Ride with Norman Reedus or whatever, right? Like you're just going to see Daryl and Carol traveling everywhere. And I like some aspects to that, sure, but then you're just going to be ending certain storylines and it's going to be like that's my concern going into season 3 is that we're just going to be really forgetting about all the characters we just met in season 2. Like that's, I think that's why Isabel was killed off. And like, I'm hoping Cadron is there for season 3, but I just feel like season 3 is going to be starting off with Daryl and Carol going to Spain and everyone else is basically forgotten about at that point. So that's kind of my concern, if they go to other places and whatnot. And if they were just set in one place, that wouldn't really be a thing, right? Like Daryl Dixon, the thing about that show is an aspect of the story is location, right? And so they always focus on that aspect to it, which I think can affect the story overall, because then you're killing off characters because you want to go to this location or that location. So we'll see. But obviously I do want to see other places in the world, but maybe that would work better in a Tales of the Walking Dead season 2 or something like that, right? Q&A, do you think when Carol is describing where to go for Ash when he gets to America, that she will then reveal that he needs to ask for Rick Grimes when he gets to the Commonwealth? This would reveal to Daryl that Rick's alive and who Carol was talking about on the radio. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that the instructions that she could give him, that makes a lot of sense. Like if you're, telling Ash and Laurent to go back to America and you like Ash, you have to bring Laurent to the Commonwealth, then obviously you're going to give directions and all of that. And I mean, that's the thing. I just don't think she knows that Rick made it back. And I think that's totally fine. Honestly, I know that there's a lot that are disappointed about that. I personally am not. I'm more frustrated that they would even have a scene like that, because like that was before The Ones Who Live. Everyone sort of connected everything. Like it made so much sense that it was going to be this or that, and obviously it ended up being nothing in the end. I think that that's more frustrating if anything, but I'm happy that it's the reveal overall, because I want Carol to see Rick and Michonne for the first time, like on screen. I don't want that reveal to happen off screen. So no, I think that in terms of that, she's probably just going to give him directions or like whatever, but for the most part, that's probably going to be it. Q&A, after Spain, which country would you like to see them heading to, assuming they will make more seasons for Daryl and Carol? So I sort of talked about this a little bit before, or I guess I didn't really get into what places I would like to see specifically. Honestly, I don't really know, because I don't really know a lot of Europe in general, but I think that they're probably most likely going to be staying there, I think, right? Because, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you could eventually make it back, but maybe you're in Canada or something like that. Like, I think that that's possible. But there's just a lot of places in general that I want to see. Like, more for me, I'm looking at the environments overall. So I've heard a lot about Daryl Dixon season 3. There's been some scenes of them filming, like, in a desert or something like that. So that would be really cool. Like a winter environment would be really awesome. So filming stuff, like, very north, like in North America, so like in Canada or whatnot, would be really cool. But again, you would have to have the story make sense as to why they go specifically over there. There's a lot of really cool stuff that you can do, I think, but it just has to make sense with the story. And as of right now, I'm not the biggest fan of, I'm excited for them to go to Spain, but like I said before, I don't like the fact that it seems like a lot of the characters from the France storyline overall are just being forgotten about, or their arcs are ending very fast and they're literally just going to be leaving and going to Spain. So season 3 is going to be Daryl and Carol in Spain, and it's going to be like a new fresh start. No connection to season 1 or 2 at all. Like, that's sort of my worry about that, because I just, again, I don't want that for the show. So yeah, but I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for posting all of your questions. I really did enjoy doing this Q&A. I will be posting one more video tomorrow, and then maybe 2 do videos tomorrow. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to be doing because I'm getting my place ready for Halloween and all that, and obviously Halloween is tomorrow, so the last couple of days I've really just been sort of like not posting as many videos, but starting right after that, like on Friday, November 1st, I will, you know, upload a lot, and then obviously there's a lot of excitement for the finale. Like there's a lot to talk about, and I didn't even talk about the ratings for episode 5 actually. I do want to get into that, but there's not a lot of surprise to it. It did increase a little bit, but yeah, I'll talk about the ratings, I guess, in a separate video along with some other things, and yeah, just stay tuned for all of that. So definitely make sure to be a subscriber if you want to get all my Walking Dead content like this. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.